Listen, I just wanted to share some of the questions that I've been receiving about this 22 days of gratitude. But most importantly, I want to thank those you did not get to see behind this camera. The many friends who leaned in, who called, who opened doors, who made a way, who gave me names, recommendations, who poured into this process in a way that I can never thank them. You know who you are, from Arizona to St. Louis to Atlanta. Thank you. Thank you. You made a difference, not just in the lives of many people, but you made a difference in my life. And for that, I say thank you. First question is, what made you want to start the 22 Days of Gratitude project? Around my birthday, I always try to do something meaningful. I believe in partying with a purpose. I don't think folks who know me would think that it's unusual for me to lean in or do something kind for others. I've tried to live a life of service. Prior to becoming an entrepreneur, I basically worked for social service and human rights organizations. I think I wanted to demonstrate with this project was that small acts of kindness can make a big difference in someone's life. I can think of an example that sticks out. Miss Bauman, the teacher that dealt with young people that have cognitive and physical disabilities. Literally, we took a box of items that she needs as a teacher, paper clips, notes, little balls that light up for the students, and I just dumped that box on the table. And you would have thought that I had dumped bags of money on the table. The way she lit up and the difference that those small items made for her and her students was remarkable. And that's what we tried to demonstrate through the 22 days. Second question, can you tell me about a special moment or experience? Yes, the young man Lamont, who, according to his counselor at the center where he goes and works and participates, is troubled at school, but exceptional in his ways of giving and helping the younger people at the center. Lamont started an LLC on his own. And I think they'd worked out a deal with him to help him get some grass to cut around the center in the neighborhood. But when Lamont saw that I gifted him with his own lawnmower, his own blower, as a young teenager, I don't think I've ever felt a young man grab me the way he did with such thanks. I think he literally felt that this was going to compel him to build out his business, to the extent that I would not be surprised if we go back and see Lamont will have other workers, Lamont will soon have additional equipment, and Lamont will have a thriving business. That embrace of thanks, of gratitude was pretty overwhelming and moving for me. Question number 3, how did this project affect you personally and emotionally? Frankly, I think I'm still figuring that out. I think I'm still gaining lessons. I think there's going to be a lot of reflection in the days ahead. But I can tell you that when you meet people where they are and you do something in your mind that is small, but you see the impact that it makes on their lives, it's hard to take things for granted anymore. It's hard not to emerge from these 22 days without being extremely grateful. So it is really a spirit of thanks and a remarkable level of humility that I hope I've continued to gain and to make me a better person on the road towards empathy. Question number 4. Why did you decide to share your acts of kindness on social media? I love this question. This is a great question, especially someone who, quite frankly, was not a huge fan of social media when it first launched. I think by demonstrating a different model of it's not all about what kind of car I'm driving, where I'm going, where I'm traveling. But you can model a different behavior of gratitude and giving, of positive impact and positive energy. And I just wanted to do that. And I think that it's a ripple effect. From what I can tell from a lot of my friends, I was at the White House the other day, people that I didn't even know followed me, walked up and are just extremely moved. And not just moved emotionally, I believe moved to make a difference. And so if I could get just a few people to recognize that they too have the power to make a small difference in the lives of people that they don't know, then I think we've achieved a good thing. Question number 5. How did you make sure to respect the privacy of the people you helped while sharing your acts of kindness online? Number 1, we were very transparent and we asked before we did anything, before any camera turned on, before any act, are you comfortable with going on camera and sharing your story? And everyone was unashamed. The interesting thing about that is, I think part of the reason that folks were unashamed to share their story is because everyone that we helped, the first thing that they were thinking about were other people that they could help. It was the most remarkable thing. I can think of an elderly woman in Atlanta. We took her groceries, and while we were talking to her about some of her groceries, she immediately started thinking about her neighbor down the road who cannot get out of the house and needed groceries too. So what did that do? That created like a ripple effect. That made me double down with groceries at the grocery store so that she too could be an additional blessing to someone else. I think folks were just genuinely surprised that a stranger would just come to them and want to do something kind. And they had no problem not just sharing their story, but showing their appreciation. Number 6, how has doing this project changed your view on gratitude and kindness? Sometimes you can talk about these concepts, but it's really in the doing. I think there was power in terms of the act of doing, of going to the grocery store, of going to the large home goods store, of pulling stuff out of the shelf, of loading stuff onto the truck myself. It's easy to write checks, and I've done that. It's easy to go online and donate. I've done that. But there was something moving, something quite spiritual about actually being in the moment and doing this, the actual acts myself. Question number 7. What feedback did you get from people who saw your posts on social media? It's been remarkable. I can't even really describe it. Both from individuals who helped facilitate, because I had to utilize a lot of friendships and a lot of relationships around the country to do this, but then people that I have never even met who've been inspired, who've recognized what a blessing it is to be a blessing. And so the response has been quite overwhelming. Question number 8. What advice would you give to someone who wants to start doing more acts of kindness? Easy. Just do it. I hate to be short or oversimplistic, but really just start small. You don't even have to do 22 days like I did. Just identify some folks in your network and just do something small. There were some days we didn't even know who we were going to do something for that morning, or we were in the process of running around. Someone called and said, hey, there's a woman that needs some groceries, and we just went and just did it. And I would say, don't overthink it, just do it. Number 9, how do you hope your project will inspire others? I think it's twofold. There is the doer, the person doing the giving. But as I really think about what we did, there's also the receiver. I hope that folks would feel less ashamed to share their struggle and be open to a little assistance. That was really remarkable. Whether I think about the dad in Atlanta who's working 55 hours, who lost his wife while giving birth to their 3rd child. You can meet people and you can tell that they're just not totally comfortable with sharing, and there's a remarkable level of vulnerability in sharing your story or asking for help. So it's both on being inspired to give, but it's also hopefully inspiring folks to receive. Question number 10. How has this experience changed you, if at all? I don't think you can emerge from 22 days of gratitude and giving to people without a tremendous amount of humility. There's some folks in this 22 days that I will literally be connected to for the foreseeable future. I want to be able to see a young man receive equipment to grow a business and then come back and see him a year later. I want to see the couple who was struggling in this way when I met them, but maybe with a little bit of continued assistance from me and others, we may be able to see them in a totally different light a year from now. This marks perhaps not the end of a journey, but actually the beginning of one. And that's what I'm most excited about.